What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/MaliciousCompliance. Alright, this story's called Move Your Car! Okay. I'm the 19 female daughter of my normally very nice parents. We had new neighbors move in about 2 years ago, and for the most part, we've just let them be. They're a little annoying sometimes, and there were a couple instances where we had to complain about the overwhelming noise of their weekend parties at night, but other than that, they're pretty okay neighbors. We've never had a problem with them until recently, after several strikes against my family. Strike number 1, destructive dogs. So my neighbor's family and my family owns dogs. My dogs are very gentle and spend most of their time indoors. We live in Southern California, and when this incident happened, it was in the middle of summer, so we let our dogs stay inside to keep cool. Their dogs are very aggressive and are raised as outside dogs. Every time I let my dogs out in the backyard for some fresh air, my neighbor's dogs will attempt to break through the wooden fence dividing our properties via digging, climbing, scratching, etc. The digging was easy to stop. We just filled the holes with dirt. But at some point, their dog managed to create a hole in the wall large enough for their dog to squeeze their face in. So about the size of a dinner plate. We have cameras, so we caught everything on tape. My parents are pretty understanding, so my dad went and talked to my neighbors, offering to pay half of the damage since it's our shared property line. The neighbor's wife, who we are going to call Lying Sally for this story, called my dad a liar and accused our dogs of damaging the fence, which we knew wasn't true, and my dad told her we had proof it was her dogs, and demanded that my family pay for the damages. They fought over it, and nothing got solved, so eventually my dad conceded and nailed some plywood over the gaping hole. Problem solved, but this was only the first strike. Strike number 2, just why? The next incident is honestly really stupid, and I don't even know why Lying Sally bothered lying. So this incident happened about a few days after we had to call our third noise complaint on one of their parties again. Like, seriously, who blasts "Let It Go" at 10:30 p.m. at night? I wish I was making this up. My family is getting out of her car in our driveway when Lying Sally walks right up to her and accuses her of yelling at their lawn mowing guy to not mow their lawn so loudly at 7:30 a.m. My mom was very confused. She's never talked to the guy who comes over to mow their lawn. We've never cared about any of our neighborhood's business in general. For frick's sake, we have a neighbor across the street who revs his motorcycle at 6 a.m. and another neighbor who does construction stuff in his garage for a hobby. My family has been living here for almost 20 years. We're very chill with our neighbors' loud and noisy hobbies normally. Long story short, my mom confronted the lawnmower guy one morning and asked him if she's ever talked to him before, and he told her no. Lying Sally saw this and ran out of the house to confront my mom. She screams, "Why are you talking to him for?" And so my mom replies, "Because you're a lying bimbo." And so that's the gist of it. I don't know why Lying Sally even bothered lying about that. At this point, we were convinced Lying Sally was a nutcase. Strike number 3, the point where I finally stepped in. For the past month, my neighbors have stooped to a new low by hogging all of the parking spaces in front of our house whenever they get the opportunity. My family has 3 cars. 2 usually sit in our driveway, and the third is parked curbside in front of our house. My neighbors have 2 cars, both of which they park alongside the curb in front of both of our houses. The curb our houses share is only big enough for 2 cars. They've stopped using their driveway entirely just to park their 2 cars on the curb, which forces us to park our third car further down the street. It's not a big deal, but what they were doing was petty, so my parents became petty too. The moment they would move their cars to go to work, my parents would move our third car back into its spot on our half of the curb. This went on for almost an entire year until at some point an unspoken truce was made and they stopped their petty scheme. Things returned back to normal until I accidentally screwed it up. In my defense, I was driving home with the third car late at night. It's dark, I accidentally backed up way too far and parked the car smack dab in the middle of the curb. So my car is literally in the middle between our houses. I'm tired from working all day, so I don't think much of it since our neighbor still has a whole entire driveway to themselves. Trust me, their driveway is just like ours. It is made to fit 2 cars. The next morning, I wake up to the sound of my parents arguing downstairs. Turns out, our neighbors have parked one of their cars on their driveway, and the other one is parked in front of our third car on our side of the curb. This wouldn't be a problem if half of the hood of their car wasn't sticking out into our driveway. The problem with this is that if we tried to back out the car, the one closest to their car, in our driveway, we might hit their car, and I'm pretty sure that was on purpose. I was done with their games, so I marched over next door and rang their doorbell. The husband, we'll call him Pig for this story, opens the door and he's recording me as if I'm going to attack him, which is ridiculous. I'm 5'2" and he's close to 6 feet. If anything, I should be the scared one. The conversation goes like this. Is it okay if you move your car?
No, the police told me I could park anywhere I want because it's a public road, and they even told me I can record you.
I don't even care about you recording me. I just need you to move your car. You have an entire driveway to yourself. It's just common courtesy to not block your neighbor's car into their driveway.
You guys can still get out. It's not that bad.
Yeah, but we just don't want to hit your car by accident while backing out.
Is that a threat?
No, I'm just saying that we don't want to pay for the damage of your car because you don't want to move it. And I can't guarantee that we won't hit it. It's pretty damn close.
I don't care. I shouldn't have to move my car. You move your car.
I realized I wasn't gonna get anywhere, so I let him slam the door in my face and I walked away. I went back inside my house and got on my laptop to make sure that yes, it is indeed illegal to park in front of someone's driveway, even partially. So my neighbor does have to move by law. However, I wanted to be a petty bimbo, so I moved my car. I grabbed my car keys and carefully backed up the car. Again, the one closest to his poorly parked car, so that the back half is inches away from the front of Pig's car. So my car is now blocking Pig's car from pulling out into the street and leaving. My car is also blocking the sidewalk, which I know is illegal, but I already had this planned out. I basically caged in his car and held it hostage for a couple days. Either Pig or Lying Sally would have to come and apologize to me to make me move the car, which I knew was very unlikely, or part number 4, victory. Sure enough, as I predicted, Pig called the cops a few days later and reported my ass. His face was so smug as the officer told me that I can't legally box in someone's car like that and block the sidewalk with my car. I told the officer that I understood and that I'll move my car, but I immediately pointed out that it's illegal to partially block the entrance point to someone's driveway as well, and that Pig's car is crossing that line by over 2 feet. The smile on Pig's face vanishes and his face turns red while the officer tells him that he's gonna have to move his car as well. So I back up my car and I'm grinning like a cat who's got his prey, while Pig has to move his car into his driveway. I also made sure to move our third car back into its rightful spot as well. Good stuff, OP. You sure show that guy. What a pig. I love small petty feuds like these between neighbors. It's good stuff. Alright, this story's called Just Give the Weekly Deal? Okay. First time poster here, sorry for the formatting, I am on mobile. The background. Many moons ago, I worked at a pizza place part of a national franchise in a diverse community. It was my first job and I enjoyed it, though mostly it was the satisfaction of having my first job. I worked inside taking orders and making them. After a few days, I was in an odd space. You see, I was new enough to not have a solid handle on everything, but I was there long enough that the manager expected me to be able to handle everything already. So when I kept taking too long recording orders, my manager began getting frustrated. I was only supposed to be taking 3 minutes at most, but I often went over 5 minutes over the phone. Remember how I said we were a diverse community? Many customers had issues speaking English, and even though I was bilingual, there were half a dozen languages being spoken here. Some were new to ordering pizza too. Some were just indecisive. As a result, a lot of time was spent speaking slower than usual, explaining everything in detail, or waiting for them to decide. I understood, but my manager was upset at my inefficiency and didn't want to hear it. Malicious compliance is set up. One day I got a call and spent 7 minutes explaining everything to a guy who was new to ordering over the phone in general, going over deals, toppings, menu items, prices, etc. He had a lot of questions. He also spoke English as a second language, so sometimes he did not understand what some words meant. Not only that, but he was out of the area. I had to explain that too, so he decided to come pick it up. He thanked me for being understanding and placed his order. I even got a tip for being patient when he came to pick it up. My manager, meanwhile, was mad. This was messing up her metrics too, so she scolded me for taking so long. I explained the sheer amount of questions he had and barriers and noted that I wasn't quiet at any moment and kept amending the order. She wouldn't listen and told me, "It shouldn't take that long, just give them the deals, that's usually enough." Cue malicious compliance. Just give them the specials? Okay. We were running a special all week. Buy one large five topping for a steep discount, except for the special pizzas, which came with specific toppings. Example, the veggie pizza or Philly cheesesteak pizza, which have specific toppings. Those were exempt, despite most having 5 toppings or less. It was arbitrary, but I followed orders and just gave them the deals anyway, even if it meant sidestepping this. So whenever a customer called ordering a special pizza, I would just put it in as a custom pizza that just so happened to have the same toppings as a special, but didn't have the name attached. Therefore, everyone got a steep discount. Some customers were surprised since they were told the deal didn't apply to specials, but it was an arbitrary rule anyway, so they weren't keen on arguing. Since they were saving money, the indecisive ones decided to just get both sometimes, so calls were quicker. Cheap pizza all around. The manager noticed and got mad at me, arguing that I was just stealing from myself for missing out on the profits. Whatever, I thought. I get paid hourly regardless of your profits. I just told her I was just giving them the deals, but the system wouldn't let me. She knew something was up, but just told me the special pizzas don't apply even if they have 5 toppings or less. The fallout. A few days later, the deal was removed, and I was on thin ice. But we got a nice increase in customers who kept trying to take advantage of the deal. The increase in sales helped offset the large dip in revenue from me liberally providing discounts. Even when I told them that the manager specifically reaffirmed that special pizzas don't apply, they understood that it was too good to last and just ordered anyways. Also, a customer called who is extremely indecisive and curious about our deals. He also had poor English that made a certain request rather confusing to understand. I spent 5 minutes on the phone until the manager told me to just pass her the phone and she'd handle it. I did as I was told and just made pizzas and handled other tasks. I noticed she wouldn't help me, and every time I looked back, she would be on the phone. Turned out the guy was on the phone for 20 minutes asking questions and being indecisive, and in the end ordered nothing. After that, she began being more understanding of me. That's good, but dang, your manager is a little bit, annoying. This story's called Ken Can't Wear Women's Clothing? Sure. This has been going on for a few months, and it was the highlight of a few evenings. I'm a single mom to 2 daughters, and I'm teaching them complete acceptance, unlike their father, who's not as nice. Back in February, my daughter got her first Ken doll as a gift, and after naming him and playing with him for a few hours, she wanted to change him into a little black dress. He looked gorgeous. A couple of days later, he changed into a stripy number. The same day he got changed into said stripy dress, my kid's dad video called. They were so excited to show him their dollies and all the beautiful outfits that they had picked, including the stripy dress. He was mad. He accused me of confusing his kids, teaching them that it's okay to be gay, telling kids that transgender people are normal, and a whole load of other bigot bullcrap. Then told me that under no circumstances could I put this doll back into women's clothing. Cue the malicious compliance. I taught my oldest daughter about being gay and that it's okay to love who you love, drag, transgenders in an age-appropriate way, and kilts. I told both my kids about their granddad who is Scottish and wore kilts for charity and was amazing. And after their approval, I began sewing tiny kilts for their Ken. Right now, he's wearing a lovely green tartan? I don't know. Which my daughter said was her favorite and he hadn't worn a piece of women's clothing since. Edit 1. My goodness, thank you so much for the awards. He hasn't seen Ken in his kilt yet. As they have so many toys, they're playing with something different every time he calls. I have a tartan that's close to my dad's clan colors, but I haven't found an exact match yet. And no sporans yet either. Man, the amount of freaking weight people attribute with clothing. It's a little ridiculous. Now, I used to agree guys' clothes are guys' clothes, girls' clothes are girls' clothes, but like, man, those lines have been blurred like so much. Like, a lot of the stuff that people wore in the 70s and 80s could be considered girly by now. Or like, some shirts that I wear, my female relatives or whatever, they're always like, oh my god, I want that shirt, and it's like, no, it's mine. It doesn't even look particularly girly. It's just a gray shirt or whatever that is kind of really long. And like, you know, I love obnoxious clothing now. But my point is, just let people wear what they want. If it looks good, it looks good. If it makes people feel good, it makes them feel good. I mean, no big deal. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.